What's up, undrafted viewers? Welcome to the U.
She called me Dickie Cortez when she introduced me. Money running out, I'm hungry, I'm at the jaw now. Undrafted rookie, my nigga, I'm ready to ball now. It's never to the shine.
Today, we're talking some NFL free agency news. We had our boys obviously lock up the draft, so let's get into some of the spicy stuff. Biggest news out of free agency today, Lamar Jackson getting hit with that franchise tag. I just want your guys' take on this. Do you think this is the end of Lamar's run in Baltimore?
I do think so. I think someone else will pay more for him, and I think Baltimore kind of just screwed this all up.
So, Jayce, I know you know the rule. If you want to explain it, what happens if someone offers them a bigger deal?
So under the non-exclusive franchise tag, you are the team is able to still negotiate with a player to work on a contract extension. However, outside teams are also allowed to contact their agent or the player themselves and create an opportunity to extend them with their own team. If the Ravens, let's pick a team. Who's
Jets?
Okay, perfect. If the Jets were to call up Lamar Jackson and say, "This is your contract we want to offer you. Do you want to do it?" and he says yes, the Ravens have an opportunity to match. Let's say the Ravens match, then he has to come back to the Ravens.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
It's like what we saw, for those of you who watch basketball, Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton. Pacers, same thing. However, if the Ravens say, you know what, go play New York, the Jets have to compensate them 2 first-round draft picks to get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. So this actually is a huge rule that I didn't even know about until Jayce told me. So this makes the running in for Lamar Jackson kind of cheap. I think 2 firsts for Lamar Jackson at his age, at his productivity, I think that would be absolutely a steal.
100%.
Oh, but yeah,
but
of course.
You're going to have to throw him a bag.
Of course, you're going to have to throw him a bag, but I mean, you see what Danny Dimes is getting? We'll get to that later. So what is your thought as our resident Ravens fan? Is this the end of Lamar's run in Baltimore? MVP winner.
I'm a Ravens fan. I do not think it is the end of the run in Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. I think someone's going to match the deal, and the Ravens will pay it.
They'll bite.
It's their quarterback. They love Lamar. They wanted something to work out. He didn't want it to work out. He's the one who's the problem here. It's not the Ravens. They're throwing him the money. That's all I really want to talk about. I think the Ravens will come to an agreement once some other team throws them the money, unless it's something super outlandish. I don't think the Ravens will throw more than obviously $400 million or something. But I think the Ravens will try to keep Lamar for as long as possible, even though it doesn't really seem like it. I think they'll try their absolute hardest till he literally says no. So
that was kind of my thought. I was thinking that Lamar would the Ravens would wait until somebody offered, Lamar accepted, and then they'd match it and keep him, Yeah. But obviously,
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
I mean,
Stephen A., I know you're totally bummed out about this. This is your guy. You love Lamar. But do you think this is good for Baltimore to get past his era and maybe can start rebuilding the offense in a way that can be more explosive?
if you don't think Baltimore's offense is explosive when they're all healthy, then I don't know what you've been watching. I think Ravens do have a very explosive offense when they're healthy and their OC is on the same page and everything's going and clicking. You've seen it before when when Lamar was doing his whole MVP run. You know how explosive they can be. I think there was some offensive coordinator problems, obviously some injuries down the road. Mm-hmm. Put the Ravens at full strength, they're a contender always. So
yeah. I disagree. I don't think the offense could win a Super Bowl.
You don't think so?
And I don't think the offense could. I do not think the offense can ever win a Super Bowl. And if you have Lamar Jackson right now, you're aiming for the Super Bowl right now. And
especially with that defense.
I think it would be better if Baltimore lost Lamar Jackson at this point.
Oh, that's a hot take right there. What do you want to say, Jayce?
No, I completely 100% agree with Kyle. You can't put any other quarterback that's not a run. Like, all right, the only other quarterback that maybe fits in Baltimore's scheme right now is a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who's established himself as a runner. Totally. Baltimore has totally, for lack of a better word, screwed themselves with this. Lamar Jackson is the glue that's held this team together. All right, they've had subpar receiver play for I don't know how long now.
For at least 3 or 4 years.
And they've had the opportunity. They've drafted guys that their former offensive coordinator has not done a well enough job, which is the reason he lost his job this past offseason.
Hollywood.
Hollywood is, I really consider that.
Still explosive.
He's still great.
He'd be the wide receiver one on the Ravens by
Right.
far.
Right now.
Well, Bateman was helped. I think
Bateman's good, but once again, I don't think he, like you're saying, I don't think the OC,
on the field.
which seems to be the Ravens' issue everywhere. O-line's always banged up, Lamar is. So that's where I'm saying, I think it's a good thing for Baltimore that they're getting rid of him. He's injury
They're
prone.
gonna have to rebuild completely.
Yeah, the way he runs, the way that he is effective is not sustainable long term. And
Baltimore needs a rebuild, dude.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Defense is getting old as well.
A linebacker plays nice. Obviously, if someone like Marcus Peters is going to be on his way out, Calais Campbell's going to be on his way out. So that defense maybe takes a step back. I think with those two middle linebackers, though, they're going to be there for the next 10 years. They'll always have a somewhat great defense.
Sure.
Harborough's always has great defensive teams.
Yeah. So I kind of disagree with what you said though about Lamar Jackson not being a sustainable long-term quarterback. To me, Lamar Jackson has been forced to just use his legs so much in Baltimore because of what he doesn't have, right? His legs should be a secondary feature, almost like what we saw what the Eagles were able to do
with Hurts.
Jalen
I
Hurts
totally
this
agree.
year.
Yeah.
Surround him with talent, right, and let his legs be like the secondary thing that people are looking for. You send all right. If so, a team like the New York Jets contacts Baltimore right now, or not Baltimore, Lamar, and Baltimore's not able to counter, and Lamar goes to the Jets. You now have Lamar in a system where he's not the totally sole reason that the offense is going to be successful.
Yeah.
He has weapons on the outside. He has a running game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is
decent tight end in Tyler Conklin,
right?
yeah.
And Uzama, they have a decent committee.
Yeah.
Rucker is up and coming. Like, listen, that is a place where I think he can definitely thrive. I think getting him out of Baltimore.
Turn me up, Jets fans.
Are the Jets going to do it?
Agree.
Absolutely, if they can. Here's why. Listen, we touched on this before when we were talking in the kitchen. The Jets have been so used to losing forever that it doesn't matter if they're going to be in a cap situation that's totally awful for themselves 10 years down the road. This 3 or 4 year window where they can be first of all, they're going to win the AFC East. Buffalo's window is closing because of the cap situation.
Yeah.
The Jets' time to win is now. If they want to get an MVP superstar who's going to elevate himself by having weapons around him and the weapons around him by having an MVP candidate behind center, this is what they got to do.
I totally agree.
Now, and there's no time to waste. Baltimore pretty much said today that we're not fully committed to Lamar Jackson by doing this. The New York Jets, your time is now to make this decision.
All right, well, this perfectly ties into my next point. If Lamar does get a counter offer from a team, where do you guys want to see him at? Obviously, you know me. I'm a Jets fan. I just said it. I'd love to see him in New York. You just made a great point. We have the weapons. We're building a line. We have the defense. We don't need Lamar to put up 35 a week. We need him to put up a nice 28, a nice 21, and we can win games behind our defense. And I think that would be one of the greatest quarterbacks the Jets have had in their history. And I don't think that's crazy to say. Let's start off with Bird. What do you think? You're probably going to say the Rams, but...
I would love to see him in the Rams, but I know that's not happening. I don't know. A team like the Vikings would be cool with all their weapons.
That would be cool.
I obviously don't think that's happening. The Raiders would be interesting if he went there.
Ooh, him in a Raiders jersey would look tough, too.
But honestly, I do think the best spot for him would be the Jets. I think he fits their timeline well. And, that'd be a crazy offense if you add Lamar into it.
So you're saying he would look good in Gotham Green?
I'm saying he would look all right.
All right. So where do you say?
So
if you don't say Jets, maybe give me a secondary
All right, so yeah,
team.
that's exactly what I was going to do. So the Jets are obviously screaming off the page, and mainly because we saw what they could be last year if they could have better than lackluster quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
The other team that screams out to me though, even though they publicly said they were off the radar today, is Washington. You look at a team who has decent young weapons, look.
McLaurin,
Listen,
Dotson.
and absolutely any team though you put Lamar Jackson on is automatically getting better. But that's a team that could suit him, right? They're in they need a quarterback, right? They don't have any identity at the position.
Just
right
got Eric Bieniemy
Right.
from Kansas City, great offensive coordinator.
So the play design and structure would definitely be something very interesting and fascinating for Lamar Jackson to work with Bieniemy in Washington. Not that far from where he's already at. So I think that's a potential suitor, but it may not happen. Atlanta's also another hot topic.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
Is he from Atlanta or the area? I don't know.
He's from South Florida. I know that for a fact. But I have seen leaks on Twitter on Atlanta's team page of Lamar Jackson jerseys.
Yeah,
So
they want that to
I
happen.
saw that.
yeah, right. I showed you that. Yeah, that was
And
absolutely
listen,
crazy.
they'll throw the bag on them just because they need something, and they need something to make it.
That's
happen.
probably. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably one. I wouldn't like to see Lamar in there, but I think it's a possibility.
more,
it could
more
happen.
probably than not.
Yeah, I mean him and Pitts. That'd be a great duo.
Drake
But
London maybe can finally pop off.
then like what else? Cordero Patterson, who's about to turn 32.
Tyler Algier, right? Is that his name?
Algier.
I'd rather see him with Brees Hall. That's all I'm trying to say.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I know.
Listen,
Jets are
Jets
enticing.
fans deserve it. All right, the Falcons fans, you had your shot. You blew it.
They
Quite
probably
literally-
deserve it more than us.
No, they had their chance. They blew it.
That's
Quite
true.
literally blew it.
All right, Bully. If it's not the Ravens, who do you want to see him on?
Doesn't matter. Counter offer or not, Ravens are getting him back. And here's why.
They would have had him already, man. They would have had him.
No.
you talked to Ozzie Newsome.
It doesn't matter who I talk to. So their GM came out and said after the 4 p.m., when they had to franchise tag him, whatever, he said that Lamar is our quarterback. So no matter what, whatever throws him as much money as possible, I think Ravens want him just as bad as any other team, if not more. The Ravens need him for any sort of hope. I don't think a rebuild is anywhere in their vicinity right now. They're not ready for it. Maybe in a few years, I don't know. But I think Lamar is you're glued to the Baltimore Ravens right now, and if you don't get him right now, you're a disappointment.
Shame on you, exactly.
Yeah, Kyle. Who do you want to see him? Where do you want to see him go to?
I don't care.
No.
I don't know. I've been talking about him for 20 minutes. He is so overrated. He will never
Whoa.
win. He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson will never win a Super Bowl. He proved that this offseason. He's only in it for the money. He doesn't want to win.
Well,
It's more of a relationship. That
I want to say I think it's more of a respect thing. You see how much Deshaun Watson's getting, and he literally takes advantage of situations. Lamar's always been a stand-up guy off the field. His play has been better than Deshaun Watson, and yet Deshaun Watson gets rewarded with a way bigger contract from a team that he wasn't even on, compared to a team that Lamar has put his life into the past 6 years. One thing
Put his life into. Man doesn't suit up for a playoff game.
because he's putting he's putting his life on the line to win games.
If you don't have anything broken and you can't move, you play in a playoff
Robert
game.
Griffin
if you wanna
III.
win.
What do you think about that?
That is a great point.
100%
Thank
agree.
you.
100%
Thank
agree,
you.
yeah.
Because guess what? The Ravens don't care about him if he's broken the next year because they'll go get someone else.
Who cares about next year? You're in the playoffs this year. You have a chance at the Super Bowl, and he doesn't play in the playoffs.
So you don't think he was hurt?
I think he
Risk-
was hurt.
risk-
I think he would have been. Mahomes was hurt. He played. You know what I mean?
That's true, but
You know
wasn't
what I
it-
Mahomes had an
wasn't it-
injury that was clearly identified and able to play on.
Yeah,
Lamar
Lamar's
missed
was
4
a-
weeks in a row and was barely able to even think about suiting up.
Yeah, but for like 3 out of those 4 weeks, he was questionable going into the week. How are you questionable for a full month straight and the
'Cause that's a-
playoffs roll
questionable-
around and you don't suit up for the playoffs? It's a playoff game. Who cares about next season? You're in the playoffs this season.
Being questionable is a lot different though, because that's your franchise quarterback. They're obviously going to say, yes, we're going to test him out as much as we can, and if he cannot suit up someday, he cannot suit up.
Yeah, I don't know if
Also-
I'm putting that against his character. I think
at
that's
all.
him just looking out for his own well-being so he can make the money and his family can provide for his family.
Yeah, so that's what I said, and you guys started arguing with me for the money.
Every player's in it for the money or they wouldn't play.
You want
Some players want to win more than
except for
others.
Tom Brady.
Some players want to win more than others, and there are
That is totally true.
and there are a lot more
but
quarterbacks that want to win than Lamar Jackson.
Okay,
wants
but
to.
would you risk the entire rest of your career if you get injured? You're done for the
That's
rest
why I
of your
think
career.
Robert
And he was
Griffin was
nowhere
a
near
on
great
a
ready to
contract
play-
year,
play.
you're gonna get paid this offseason. So why would you risk that?
And that is a
You're
perfect
nowhere
call.
near-
Because you're in the playoffs and you have a shot at the Super Bowl. You should want to win.
That's
You
silly.
should want to win.
I think Robert Griffin was a great point, and I actually wanted to say before, I think Lamar, on whatever team he goes to, he brings a culture of, this is my team and I'm leading you guys. You saw it with Mark Ingram when they had that big trust thing going on. You saw how the defense rallied behind that. I think he's a culture shock too. He sets a culture of a team as soon as he joins that team, right? I don't think that's crazy to say.
Agreed.
I think Lamar's a winner. I don't think looking out for his future is him not being a winner.
And And
agree with
to
that.
counter what you said, all right, let's say he was on a 3-year extension going the next year. What would the Ravens have said? Oh yeah, go ahead, risk your knee injury for this game, even though we have you locked up for 3 more years. Absolutely not. They would have told him to sit out. Dude, you don't understand how serious a runner like him is a knee injury.
You don't want to test a serious
It's not like
injury with your franchise quarterback. You don't want to do that, especially in a contract year, like you said, or I forget who said it, but I don't know. You don't want to risk an injury over a game or two. The playoffs obviously it's different, but if you can't go out there and suit up, it's not worth it risking for another injury that could be worse down the road. So.
All right, well,
I'm just saying, man has 0 rings and he's out here sitting in playoff
he
games.
is an MVP.
He has 0 rings.
A lot of people have 0 rings because of someone named Tom Brady. So you're going to say that someone like Phillip Rivers was like not into winning? No, he wanted to win every game, but he also wanted to get a bag. I feel like that's not a good response to saying why he didn't suit up. I feel like if you're looking out, you have to look out for money. Like if not, guess what you would do? You'd be making podcasts just like us. So I think that that's a kind of a unfair thing to say he wants to get paid when he's an MVP caliber quarterback. Whatever. Let's get into the next point about a quarterback who did play in the playoffs. Danny Dimes getting 4-year, $160 million. We'll swing it over to Kyle, resident Giants fan. What are your thoughts on the deal? Just me personally, I think people are overreacting on this deal.
I agree with you too.
I don't think it's that bad. He's a young quarterback with the new head coach. He's looking great. Turnovers were down, but I want to hear what you have to say about Danny Dimes' deal.
All right, so 4 years, $160 million. That is more than $40 million a year. That is like around what Patrick Mahomes makes. And then we sign a running back to a 1-year, $10 million extension. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What are we doing? As soon as it starts to look good, we sign a running back on a 1-year deal for over $10 million for a running back, and then we give Patrick Mahomes' salary to Daniel Jones. I was just starting to get excited about being a Giants fan again, and then we pull this shit. That's all I gotta say about it. I don't want to get myself too worked up.
Yeah,
I hit every point. That's
okay,
it.
buddy. All right, so yeah, I definitely think that you had to lock him up, but
No, we didn't.
No.
the money is a little much. But at the end of the day, like I made the point with Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson has absolutely destroyed the quarterback market with the deal
the
he got.
Cleveland Browns actually.
Yeah, well,
destroyed the
I mean,
quarterback
yeah, if you're
market.
Deshaun Watson, you're taking that all day. I don't blame him. But yeah, the Cleveland Browns destroyed the quarterback market. I mean, Deshaun Watson, don't get me wrong, before all that stuff was a great quarterback, but now you got people like Daniel Jones making Patty Mahomes money because of it. So I think that is a big part of this deal as well.
Yes, but I don't like Daniel Jones. I think this is way overpaid for him. I'm more upset that we signed a running back to a 1-year, $10+ million contract. Why do you sign a running back to that?
Now, if that running back's name is Saquon Barkley, though, you're still
It doesn't
upset.
matter. Then the running back's name is Saquon Barkley. It's over $10 million for a running back for 1 year. That is ridiculous. It doesn't matter who it is.
And I totally agree with your frustration because what are you guys lacking right now? And it's the most obvious thing ever. Receivers. Wide receiver. How do you not go out and pay a wide receiver? I think that's crazy. Bolly, let's swing it to you.
We
What do you
did,
think?
and his name was Kenny Galladay. Matt Stafford made Kenny Galladay a multi-millionaire for doing nothing.
For 1 touchdown.
I wish Matt Stafford was my quarterback. Dude.
Robbie's living that life. All right, tell me what you think about this deal.
Obviously, I think it's too much money. Does he deserve it? No, but yes. You're a quarterback for the New York Giants, big market,
Young.
New York, young. He does obviously have his pros and cons, but the way he looked this year was a lot better than any other year. Dable, a whole new culture in New York for him obviously, and 160 mil for 4 years. That's a lot of money for someone who hasn't really proved the world, and I mean, what has he really proved?
94 million of that is guaranteed at signing.
Oh yeah, so I mean,
Such a.
he asked for it, he got it. Giants front office,
That's
I think, is crazy for doing it.
I can't believe Daniel Jones had the leverage to pull off this deal. That's one of the
Yeah.
things with me. What do you have to say about that? I mean, what are your thoughts on the deal? I mean, obviously we're going around the table.
I'll wait for him to finish.
No, I'm all
You
good.
good?
All you.
All right, so you would go from having back-to-back years of having top 10 picks, right, or top 15 picks,
5
right?
picks.
God awful team, right?
We had 2 top 5 picks.
Well, one of them was the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a coach comes in and establishes a culture with a young quarterback,
Sorry, yeah.
goes to the playoffs and wins a playoff game. Why do you even think about changing that the next year?
Because why did they make the playoffs and don't even front like it was the offense? It was the goddamn defense that.
It was
made them
the
go to playoffs.
defense, and the reason our defense was so good is because we had a mid-ass quarterback like Daniel
Your
Jones
defense
signed to a
wasn't so
rookie
good.
deal. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
It was
Yeah, it was.
really
Yeah, our defense was good.
because they allowed a combined what was it?
If you're gonna talk about the Eagles shit on everyone, so I don't even want to hear that.
Here's
But-
my point though. All right, it wasn't like you had this glorious defense that was carrying an offense.
Yes,
like the
but
Jets.
with
they
that,
did,
that
though.
offense with an average defense is not a playoff team.
Not at all, and I think they're a top 5
No,
pick in the
but-
And the
draft.
reason we had that defense is because we had Saquon and Daniel Jones on rookie
Yeah.
deals.
Sure.
Now we just paid them bags, and now everything else that is good on our team is going to be bad.
Now
You don't take a play. That's what I'm saying. You don't take a playoff team and change the guy at the most important position on the field out of the chair.
See, I
Okay?
get that.
Saquon is replaceable, and you will see that next year when they draft a guy in the 3rd round this year to take his job next year, or they roll with Brightwell. I think is his name.
Breida. Oh wait.
No,
We got
no, the
Breida,
younger guy.
but- yeah, we got
Breida's-
Brightwell, too.
All right, so
Brightwell.
he's gonna take his job. Listen, all I'm saying is you have a young quarterback and a first-year system with a head coach and an offensive coordinator who was surprisingly retained this offseason. Okay, there's gonna be strides made because now they've committed to him. Listen, it's the right move. I think this is $40 million's high, but guess what? Like we just said, the quarterback market is so highly established right now.
Yeah.
Mike White can make $20 million next year.
And that's the goddamn truth,
I'm not
yeah.
even kidding. Like,
Yeah,
it's just what's gonna happen. The price isn't what you need to worry about. It's the actual who you have, and you have a guy who won a playoff game with you and won the playoffs with you coming back, which is what you need to look forward to for 4 more years.
Yeah. Robbie, what do you have to say about this? Obviously we've had all of our opinions. What do you think about this deal? Good, bad, overpriced? What is the main word for that?
So I hated on Danny Dimes for a while, but last year he was really solid. And I mean,
Now, was he solid or was he just better than what he was?
definitely better than what he was, but he was a solid quarterback. He got them to their first playoffs in how many years?
A decent bet. I don't know.
2016, right?
Yeah,
So-
something like
yeah,
that.
since
Ever since
2016.
the boat,
Yeah.
the boat pick.
So I mean,
6 or 7 years.
he showed he can run, he can throw. He
played-
didn't have many interceptions last year.
Or
And-
fumbles, which is normally his
Yeah.
bad thing. He really cleaned that up. And I want to say that he looked good against the Vikings, but I mean, then you go against that Eagles defense, and they were making everyone look like crap. So.
Now, did he deserve Patrick Mahomes' money? Probably not, but he deserved to get paid, and he got his money. You know.
Okay, sorry. What are your thoughts on this?
So I just wanted to piggyback off of what Jayce was just getting at. If I'm an NFL team, I am never signing or trading for a running back that's not on a rookie deal. I'm redrafting a new running back every 3 years
2
and
years.
keeping him on
2
a
years.
rookie
You keep
year.
him in a-
There is
yeah.
no need, even if it is Saquon Barkley, to give him $10 million for 1 year. He's a running back, dude. I would never, ever, ever have a running back on that type of deal. I would never have a running back on my team that's off a rookie deal.
Now, can I just ask one question? If his name is Christian McCaffrey,
No.
still no?
No.
Derrick Henry.
Not 10 million.
The era of
No.
Adrian
the franchise running back is
Peterson.
over.
No.
You're
Not for 10 million.
like
no.
it could be the
No.
most generational running back, and you're saying no.
Not for 10 million a year.
Okay.
No.
It depends what. In fairness, it depends.
A
what the
running back's only as good as their line.
I know, I totally agree with that. And you could put someone like Tony Pollard behind the Cowboys O-line, making way less money than Zeke, and you see what he does last year.
Yeah.
So I agree with that point, definitely. But I think, maybe someone like CMC maybe can deserve that 10 million.
Not
And
10
see-
million for a year for a running back.
In all fairness,
And if you said this a year ago after CMC just blew
Yeah,
his
totally.
shit out
Totally,
for
yeah.
2 or 3 straight seasons,
You'd-
you're saying hell no too.
Yeah.
And even after a season like this, I'm saying hell no.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't injury prone, still hell no. Not 10 million a year for a running back. No.
Okay. I agree with that.
real quick, I just want to touch on the whole McCaffrey situation. McCaffrey's reason he's been so good is he's played on awful teams in Carolina, right? So he was the only guy who had to get paid. He was always one of the quarterback
Yeah.
with a rookie deal. And went over to San Francisco where they didn't even necessarily have to pay him for the season because he was already paid by Carolina, who also has a rookie quarterback. So,
Two of them,
technically, so-
and then paying another one.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
So like that might change their cap situation next year, but
yeah.
you know.
All right, well, let's just get into this one quickly. Last point about Danny Dimes. I know we were saying the deal's a little bit overpaid. What does he have to do that he lives up to this deal? Would he have to throw 50 touchdowns?
We need a Super Bowl in the next 4 seasons if he's
That's
to live
the
up to
quote.
his deal.
That's
Yes,
crazy,
yes,
dude.
because he's.
So
How is that crazy?
No,
He's
no,
getting
no.
paid more than Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with like
Patrick
your
Mahomes
ideology.
has 2 Super Bowls in the past 4
not gonna
years. So
happen.
yeah.
And 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
He's getting paid $10 million less than Patrick Mahomes. Okay, which is it's just a big difference when you think about it.
Because Patrick Mahomes hits his incentives.
Wait, time out. And I want to say,
If Daniel Jones hits his incentives, he'll get
50.
paid more than
It's 50.
he'll get paid more than Patrick Mahomes.
I just
Yes,
want
he
to say
was.
Less than
that
50.
the
It's like
gap
47.
between Patty Mahomes and Danny Dimes is more than $10 million. That is 100% a fact.
Yeah.
But you have to take age into it. You have to take, like he was saying, they made the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. You got to take that optimism into it. But I agree with you. Super Bowl or bust with that contract. You're
Yes,
paying
with
him
a
to
contract
be,
like this, it's Super Bowl or bust,
Yes.
and we're not winning a Super Bowl.
They're not, no,
so it's
that's
going to be
what
a
I mean.
bust.
Yeah, they're not going to.
You
So,
don't-
so yes, that is why I hate this.
So, but you're not like if Danny Dimes somehow wins MVP, not worth it still.
If he wins MVP, yeah, he's not gonna. He's not gonna win.
You say that, but people were saying this about Jalen Hurts last year, and they would have had the same response.
Dude, Jalen Hurts has shown a lot more, even last year, than Daniel
False,
Jones still
yeah.
has.
As someone who watched the games every week,
Jalen Hurts was
it
getting
was
hated
scary.
on.
It was scary. Dude, the decisions he was making, like on timing, and dude,
But I will say Jalen Hurts has way more physical capabilities, even though Danny Dimes is a sprinter. But the Eagles also set him up for success, where I don't know if the Giants will, because they have to pay him this money. Where I agree with you.
Dude, we're
Real quick, what do you want to say? What do you think he has to do to live up to this deal?
To win a Super Bowl, like Conk said, you can't. Look, you're a letdown, bro. You're making so much money, and if you're not going to win a Super Bowl, then you're a bust. That's all I gotta say about it.
I agree.
yeah.
I mean, that's a high ceiling to put there for him, but I mean that's a big contract. So
Big contracts expect big expectations. So, all right, next topic.
All right, no, actually, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. This has been the U talking some NFL free agency. We'll catch you next time.
I went undrafted, they dissing me. Keep talking down, though I love it.